One is to let something marinate.
So I did say it wrong.
And then one's like a sauce, maybe?
Because I said don't, my tip for not moving in, or like make sure you talk about it, don't let it marinate. Marinade versus marinate. This needs to be
Or is it like
solved.
a US and a UK thing?
Yeah.
Like, you know how organise and organise and...
I don't even know how to spell fucking marinade. Marinate is a verb meaning to soak food and marinade. Marinade is a noun referring to flavourful liquid.
There we go.
For soaking. So it is. So you use marinade. To marinate. English language fucking sucks.
We're answering the really hard-hitting questions.
Changing lives one step at a time.
Well, now you know.
Well, we've started with the fun fact. Hi, I'm Michaela.
I'm Tanya. We moved halfway across the world for the plot.
We can't afford therapy, so we decided to plaster our problems all over the internet.
Welcome to the Shit Show.
That was nice.
That was nice.
Season finale.
Number 10. I can't believe we actually did 10.
I am so proud of us.
Turns out we can talk shit for a long time.
And we still have a season 2 to go.
I know. All right. Well, we've done 10 episodes and we kind of set out to do 10 episodes because it's a nice number. It was a nice number just to kind of settle into this new place, but also we broke it up into like things that we were going through at that time.
Yeah.
And when we sat down to do this planning of the podcast, we set out things that we wanted to talk about, and then we got to 10 and we're like, that's nice, that's a good number. But halfway through it, we changed a lot of the episodes.
The majority, from 5 till 10, they weren't what we originally sat down.
It just goes to show how quickly things change.
Constant.
Yeah. And then we were like, well, we need a season 2 now because...
we have too much to say.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface. This one's
so.
A big one. Again, it changed.
One. Yeah. And it did. What did you have it as being called? I want to make sure I got the brief right.
I stopped naming them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have written down, does anybody know what's going on?
Is that a statement or a question? Yeah. Adulthood is a scam.
100% it's a scam.
Because when I was younger, I would look at adults and I thought 25 was an adult. I thought that was a full-blown adult. They've got their shit together. But as you get older, you realize there's no like ceremony that knights you with wisdom or like a direct path. No one tells you what to do. And I honestly believe everyone is faking it.
For sure.
Surely, or if they do know what they're doing and they're not telling us, they're not giving us the rules.
Gatekeeping.
Yeah. That's rude.
I mean, I think that there's kind of like a really loose thing, but I think that the society that we live in now, a lot of those have been questioned because as an adult, it kind of, you were seen as an adult when you got married, and then you became, you know, the owner of the house, and you were the mother of the children in terms of women, and then you were an adult. And back in the day, that made sense. That was your job. Whereas now it's kind of like we're allowed to do whatever we want with whatever we have.
We have too many choices.
Yeah. So I don't think that anyone, especially our age, but then again, like I have friends who are 40, 50, like they don't know what they're doing either. And you look at midlife crises, it's a tale as long as time.
Yeah.
People do the things and do the adult thing, and then they're like, well, hang on a second, I'm not happy. They don't know what they're doing, so they buy an expensive car or they date someone at the age of 23.
Yeah. I don't think anyone knows what they're doing. But I guess that's the purpose of life, is to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
I feel like if you had all the answers, it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, well, then what? You know?
Yeah.
You go on holiday once a year and you work your 9 to 5 and that's just the rest of your life until you die.
Yeah.
That's miserable.
Well, that just took a turn.
No, the only reason why, if you had asked me 2 days ago, I would have had very different answers for you, but I'm now all of a sudden very positive. And I'm like,
you work, you go on holidays and you die.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's the podcast. Do not lean into adulthood. It's a scam. No. I just think that our route of adulthood that we have chosen is a lot more stressful.
Yeah.
Because there's no security.
There is no security.
Yeah.
And that is stressful. Adulthood's just, I think, making a whole lot of choices and figuring out which one's the best ones for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. And I wonder sometimes if there are people out there that wake up and they're completely content with their life.
One of my questions for you. Have you ever, at any point in time in life, other than like, you know, high school and stuff, since leaving school, being a quote unquote adult, have you ever felt like fully fulfilled, like you have your shit together?
No, I've never. And it was funny when I was in Australia, I would always wake up and be like, yeah, I'm happy. I've got a good job. Like I like my life. But there was this part of me that always wanted to move overseas. And there were times where I tried to convince myself, like, yeah, but you did that. You did that. And I was convincing myself that I would be happy in Australia. But every day I'd wake up and be like, I feel like I could be doing more.
Yeah. It always felt like there was something missing for me.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I had the job. Yes, I had the, you know, partner, the house. I was moved out and life was good. And I'm not saying that it wasn't.
Yep.
But I had the same feeling waking up every day being like, but is this it?
Yeah.
Like, is this it for me? I know there's more out there. I just don't know how to get it.
Exactly. I felt like I was doing all the right things, but I still wasn't fulfilled.
No.
And I was like, there's something I need to do that I'm not doing. And I think that
was the big shift.
Yeah.
The big shift for me when I moved overseas originally was that I realized that I had been chasing security and normalcy, but what I really wanted was just to feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
Like that's the key word in my life now is it moving me further towards what I want and what's going to make me happy, or is it just comfortability? And I think we're getting quite deep, but as like animals, the humans, of course, like historically, that's what we want, is to feel safe and to feel secure and to feel like there's no trouble. So we go after that, but then we get that and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so then you achieve that goal and you're like, okay, what now?
That's that thing, is that feeling, it's that security. And, you know, you can't just fleet around your life wanting to do everything that you want, because it is that security. You do need to make money. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when people get a job that makes money, they're content because they've got that security.
Sure.
They feel safe.
Yeah.
You know, they get the partner, they've got that cohesive environment, they have kids, they're secure.
They're doing the things.
They're doing the things. So I do think when people wake up, they are happy. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope they are. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder if sometimes people that didn't go after that one thing that they wanted, is what they have enough, you know?
And at what point, if it's not, will they realize that it's not?
Yeah, well, midlife crisis.
Yeah, exactly. So my grandma, my dad's mum, was an incredible vocalist.
Yeah.
She was the most amazing singer ever. And she went to conservatoriums and like she was quite good at her craft for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then she became pregnant, got married and had 2 boys and had to stop singing, felt that she had to stop singing in those days to be a mum and be a wife. And she was the most bitter old lady that I have ever met in my entire life. Like, she was awful. And my mum uses that as an example for me all the time. She's like, you could go and do that and you could go and do that, but just think about your grandma. And I'm like, ooh.
I know.
Because it may not come out in like a whatever, but you subconsciously might blame your family. You might blame the choices that you made. And that's really scary.
Resentment is very scary. Yep.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was listening to this podcast, The Relatables. Have you?
I have.
Yeah. And they were talking and he's like, I feel like I need to do something, because they're both in a relationship. And one of the guys was like, he's still living at home, but he's got a steady girlfriend. And he's like, while I'm at home and I don't have like any financial ties or responsibility. He goes, I feel like I need to do something. He goes, I feel like I need to take a big trip or do something irresponsible. Before I get like tied down. And the other guy was like, I don't feel like that. He's already renting with his partner. He's like, I don't understand where you're coming from.
Think about a creative mind compared to a more analytical mind, for example.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that it's how we're built in some way or whatever, because there's that sense of adventure. I'm constantly chasing that sense of adventure, whereas others are like, I would much rather feel comfortable and happy. And that's awesome. Like, no judgment there. Sometimes I wish I had that chromosome because that would make my life a lot easier. Yeah,
because the other guy was like, I don't feel that. Like, if we want to go on a holiday, we can still go, but it would, you know, we would just have to like find someone for the dog and like we just make a plan to go.
Sure.
And I was like, I feel like there's two types of people. There's people that need to keep grasping at things and learning and growing and doing stuff and taking leaps and bounds. And I think other people are more analytical.
Yeah. And logical and they feel happy when things make sense.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not going to lie. We're running out of money. And we're at that crossroads where it's like, okay, yes, we're having fun, but this fun is limited if we keep going the way we're going.
Correct.
So we're trying to find jobs. And at the moment, we're like, anything that's going to pay full time, we feel like we need to take it.
For sure.
So we've both been applying to jobs, and you spent, 12 weeks? I'm going to let you tell this.
I was calculating the other day. I sat through 24 different interviews with different companies. First, 24. Second, third, different, the amount of applications I didn't keep count of, but we were 3 a day for the last 3 months. So many. I've got through to 3 final stages with companies, one of which I was the final 2 candidates. And one I actually got an offer and signed a contract. And in that, the excitement, I was like, okay, this is freedom for me. So I was going to work from home. It's going to be amazing. Everything was great. I was going to be able to pay part of your rent. Everything was fantastic. I had a job. I was working at the Hard Rock Cafe. And like mid-shift, I got this contract, signed it and quit. I was like, this is fucking it. Yeehaw. And then 2 days later, they realized that the visa type that I'm on, they couldn't have a continuous contract. So there was another 2 weeks on top of that. It was just like, everything was super exciting. And then it's just like the ball dropped. Yeah. I was setting myself up. I almost pressed buy on a laptop because I was going to be working remotely. Like, we were ready.
Yeah.
And then they said they had to work it out. So I gave them 2 weeks to work it out. Positive affirmations every day. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
You were actively looking for new visas for providing different roads they could go down and paths, and
was clutching for them, like clutching onto this idea that, okay, like we're on the up. And then on Monday I got the email saying, sorry Michaela, but we're not going to continue on. It's too much work, basically.
And it was devastating.
It was so interesting because my body, I was about to walk into a rehearsal. My brain was like, let's just get this rehearsal done. But my body, I couldn't see straight. I started to lose my voice. I was so stressed.
Yep.
Because that's the state that we're in right now. It's the up, the down, the up, the down. And my central nervous system, fucked. Completely fucked.
It was the security literally just ripped away.
Yeah, for sure. It's like we're back to square one now.
Yeah.
And it was 12 weeks process. Like it was a 12-week process. So anything worth kind of working, and it was a good job. Like it was
perfect.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It was so perfect. It was exactly what you needed. It was money,
career progression, like
it was a good company. Yeah.
And so I realized how much it was affecting me, and we both kind of do this thing where we go and we journal in the park.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to see these 4 walls anymore. I've applied for 11 jobs out of fear today. I'm going to go for a walk in the park.
But that's the thing. Like we were both so devastated from this job, and we did have to kind of take a step back and be like, this was a job that you probably never thought you would care about so much coming here.
No, not at all.
And we're like, because during this time they were deciding, you had that moment where you were like, is it worth fighting for this job?
Correct.
Is it worth, we contemplated moving for this job and doing a whole like business proposal to get a freelance visa for this job.
It was going to be an ordeal.
Yeah.
Like an absolute ordeal. And I had thought that it was either this or nothing.
Yeah.
And that's not true now, I realize. But in the moment when you're so in it already, like I placed my feet.
You envisioned yourself.
Yeah. Like the paycheck, I'd already checked how much after tax I was going to get, where that money was going to go. I've made separated accounts as to how I was going to break it up. Like I was ready. And we always said, the hardest part, I think, we have always said that nothing's in the bag till it's in the bag. Because this is a classic Michaela trait. Like, things get really close, nearly, maybe, yeah, or no, and it gets pulled at the last second. So we made a rule that I wasn't allowed to, because I also get very overexcited about shit and have a great imagination. We made the deal that I wasn't allowed to get excited about stuff until the contract was signed.
The contract was signed.
The problem was the contract was fucking signed. So now I'm just like not getting excited about anything. I'm like, I don't trust anyone.
I don't believe that there's a higher up in the universe, but sometimes I think there is someone like toying with us, laughing at us just for their own amusement.
And the problem is I go straight to self-destruction mode and be like, what have I done to deserve this? Who's got my voodoo doll and who's fucking stabbing the shit out of it?
What were we doing in a past life?
It's awful. But can I just say that I love that my problem is your problem? Like you were probably affected equally as much
I was
as
going to be a stay-at-home best friend. I had already planned my days.
I literally have written Tanya a proposal on I was going to help out with the rent and she was going to help me with my social media stuff. Like we were fucking set, man.
We were, and now the past week we've just had to completely shift.
Yeah. And we've spoken in previous episodes about that pivot.
Yeah. This wasn't a pivot. This was a 180, take a left and then go down some stairs and take another
jump
right.
out the window.
Do a Yui and
And the thing was like, and I really thought about this afterwards. A plus is that these kind of things happen and it's generally now a 24-hour turnaround and I'm good again.
Yeah.
So 12 weeks ago, I remember coming out of the first interview being like, I don't even fucking want this job.
Yeah.
Why do I know about this? I don't know anything. And then startup, so they're going to make me work too many hours. And then it became my fucking life by the end of it. And I realized like, it's old characteristics of mine coming back in, because not only have I put my heart and soul into something that doesn't align with that fulfillment that I talked about. Yeah. But I also feel like, and both of us are the same. We were just talking about different chromosomes and two different people being built differently. Yeah. We are extraordinarily logical, but we are also dreamers. So we will never get ourselves into a situation where we can't come back from. Yes. But we don't really want to be any closer to that point. You know what I mean? So I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, so this job's happened and I have spent all my time applying for jobs and so have you. Yeah. Like we have each day I wake up, I apply, then I sit there for hours. Yeah. Refreshed.
We're 6 months into it now. So it's been uphill battle.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. I had a good assessment of my why.
Yes.
And so have you.
I think we had to take a step back when we realized we were halfway through the year and be like, okay, what are we actually doing? Yeah. Why are we here? Why do we want to be here?
Why are we putting ourselves through this? What's the motive? Yeah. For sure.
If we only had like another 6 months here, what do we want to do?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
What did you come up with your why?
Revisiting my why. And I think us talking about fulfillment is a big one. So obviously music is a huge part of my life. And I have spent a lot of my life getting close to somewhere and then being scared. And that's, I think, what all of this job application was for me. It was like, okay, yeah, so I did some pretty cool shit, but like now I'm just going to go get a full-time job because I can't make this work. My why is to actually give myself a fucking chance wherever we are in the career that I actually want to do, to build something for myself, a life that I have scripted. I'm the main fucking character and this is for me and this is what living over here is what the main character wants. My other big why is longevity. So wherever we're staying, we're finding a route to be able to make this a long-term thing.
When I started to think like about my why, and I kind of went further back. Instead of looking at like the future whys, I went past whys as well. And it was like, okay, why did you do this? Oh, because I wanted to travel. Okay, why did you do this job? Because I wanted money to travel. Okay, but why did you do this? Oh, so I could travel. And I realized that everything that I've done in my life was to travel. Mm-hmm. Why did you get out of that relationship? Because I wanted to travel.
Sure.
Why did I have that job? So I could make a lot of money quickly, and I could take time off whenever I wanted to travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I was like, okay, Tanya, well, that's not a really great plan, but it's fun.
But it's a why. That's like that. You don't have to make excuses for that.
Exactly. And thinking about it now, I was like, okay, you're here. You want to travel. There are still so many places that I want to see. So for me, sitting around for 6 months, barely scraping by, I was like, I'm not going to be able to travel. Mm-hmm. I need money. Mm-hmm. I need money to travel to do what I want.
Yeah. So. And that's unfortunately the long and the short of it. It's the same as me talking about wanting to build a music career. I can do it on the ground, but there's also like there's equipment. We just discovered equipment that I want. If I want to put money into marketing, I have to have money to do that. If I want to go on tour, I have to have money to do that. I'm fully self-funded at this point. And to be honest, I mean, if there's record labels out there, please email me. But I wouldn't want to give that power to anyone else. I want to be self-made and self-managed, and I'm happy to do it on myself, but I can't do that without money.
Fuck, I know we've said this before, but whoever said money doesn't buy happiness, you're a liar.
Money buys freedom.
Money buys freedom. Yes, the freedom of choice. Yes. But yeah, anyways, apart from that, we had to sit and think about our whys. And our conclusion was, okay, we don't want to burn through every last cent to wind up back at home in another 6-7 months.
Correct. And I think going through this process also, like, you kind of realize that you also don't want to spend the last 6 months being miserable. And it's like you have to find the logical ground, but also the like, well, me getting a job and making money so you can travel or so I can do music and stuff. If we're 40 hours a week fucking hating our lives, that's also what's the point. You know, it's finding the logical ground where it's like we had a conversation about keeping each other accountable to still be going out and doing things or whatever. You've got to find, and the why is deeply rooted.
It is. And it goes on to making choices. Mm-hmm. And I think I was listening because I have had to make this choice and I can't make it for the life of me. And I was listening to Mel Robbins and how to make difficult decisions. Mm-hmm. And she was like, trust your gut. And I think that's where the why comes from. It's that gut feeling in you that kind of steers you one way or the other.
Yeah.
But then she contradicted herself and she was like, but sometimes that gut feeling or that hesitation towards one way is because she was like, because it's the logical reason to take and it's the right thing to take, but you're scared to take it because it means a shift in you or something. And I was like, well, then you just contradicted yourself. Which way do you freaking go?
I can fully resonate with that feeling in her stomach though. So,
but God, my guts led me to some pretty horrible decisions lately.
yeah, and I can understand that. And I was speaking to you about this the other day when I made the choice to leave my engagement and move here. Every fiber in my body, like it felt wrong to do so. Yeah. It felt wrong for so many different reasons, whether it's like I'm again leaving my security, I'm uprooting and I'm purposely putting myself in a situation that is extraordinarily stressful. Yeah. I'm going against everything that everyone else is doing. I was happy enough in a relationship. The guy was fine. But I knew deep down that I would regret it for the rest of my life if I walked down that aisle. I knew it. And so when I made that choice, I had to sit for months being like, I think I fucked up, but I'm still happy. And it wasn't one way or the other yet. And there's an artist called Theo Katzman, and he said something, it was my last week in Manchester when I made the decision and called him and was like, not going to marry you. And he said on stage, he was like, you're never going to be fully ready to do something. You're never going to feel fully like this is the right choice, but sometimes you just have to do it scared. And it was that do it scared that I would repeat to myself constantly, being like, I just have to do it scared. I just have to do it. I don't like it, but I have to do it. And it makes sense.
There's choices that you know are just right.
Easy.
Coming here. Easiest decision I've ever made in my life.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then there's decisions where you can see there's two completely different outcomes.
Yeah.
And you're not sure which one is going to make you happier in the long run.
But I also think this is counter to what you're saying. No decision is permanent.
Yeah, it's not. But there's also, like, as she was talking about that gut feeling, sometimes you get a gut feeling because you know it's right. But then there's that gut feeling where you're scared of the work or the commitment or the kind of like the struggle that you know that's going to come with it.
Sure. I understand.
So it's kind of figuring out that when you've got all these freaking gut feelings.
Yeah. Which gut feeling is the right one?
Yeah. And then like, oh no, wait, I just need to poop.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I didn't have my kefir this morning. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's trying to figure out that.
Yeah.
And I asked so many people what they would do. Mm-hmm. And people were like, flip a coin. Because once it's in the air, you'll know. And I was like, the thing is, I could do either one happily, I think. And people were like, envision your life. And I was like, I can envision anything, but it's probably not going to be that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen.
No, you don't know.
And then someone was just like, just choose like what's going to make you happiest. No, sometimes you can't just choose what's going to make you happiest.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, the reality of life is you need money.
Yeah. And this is the thing I was talking about with us being dreamers and logical thinkers.
Yeah.
Like if you were just completely like, no, I'm just going to throw it all away.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even think twice. You would have got a phone call. You would have said no. Like that's that
exactly.
easy. But because we still want a certain level of things to be okay in the end.
Yeah.
And, things would be fine either way in the end, realistically.
Exactly. Realistically, things are going to be fine. But
it's the logical, I need to make a smart choice.
Yes. And it's that no one can make this decision but yourself.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But it's also that when you are completely self-funded and independent, strong women like we are.
Correct.
We have to think logically.
Yeah.
Because like I said last week, we don't have that fallback.
Yeah. I literally wrote in my journal yesterday, no one is coming to fucking save you, Michaela.
That, honestly, do you know how many times that plays in my head? The second I wake up in the morning, no one's coming to save you.
No one.
It rings in my head every single day.
Which some days is mortifyingly, overwhelmingly scary because you're like, oh God, I'm here on my own.
Yeah.
But other times, and yesterday I had a really, this is going to sound, I sound insane, but we both know that I'm going down that road
We've
anyway.
already established we're both delusion.
Yeah. But this one in particular, I sat down, I didn't know what I was going to journal about. That's how I go into journaling. I'm like, what am I feeling? Put it out on the paper. First words were like, grow the fuck up and do what you have to do.
Exactly.
Like stop being such a bitch and fucking work harder. Like that. And that's the thing. And the why for me, my music, like I was saying, this job application process and all of that stuff, that clutching at fucking security somewhere has completely pulled me away from the reason that I came over here in the first place. I haven't.
But it's that self-funding. You knew deep down you needed money to keep this journey going.
Correct. Exactly. And like, yes, I can go and busk out on the street and that's fine.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to be making enough to make rent. I can search for that funding and apply for jobs. That's 2 hours out of the day. And then I can continue my fucking life because all I'm going to do is sit and wallow otherwise. It's just, you have to not kid yourself and be like...
You have to do the work, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm scared of.
Sure. I get it.
The work and knowing that there's going to be work after work.
Yep.
So
It's a lot.
it's a lot. Yeah. But again, it's that no one's coming to save you.
No.
No one's coming to drop $1 million in your lap.
Yeah.
No one's coming to scoop you up and tell you everything's going to be okay.
No. And unfortunately, and this is something else that I wrote yesterday, to be in the 1% or to be the best at what you want to be, you have to work. Like,
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. There is no
Yeah.
one, like, there's the most incredible musicians out there ever who do it on the weekend because that they don't have time during the week, whatever. The most successful people in this world, unless they're Nepo babies, have to fucking come home from their 9 to 5, work till 11 p.m., sleep where they can, wake up, and like in the world we live in, you have to work. You have to work.
And all the people that are very successful in their life don't sleep that much.
No.
Because they're fucking working.
Exactly.
They're fucking working hard. And I think that's the scary part.
For sure, because it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And that's what differentiates normal everyday people who are getting to their midlife crisis being like, I'm miserable now, to people who are doing things that they love every day.
Yeah.
It's the hard truth that you can talk about. I could talk to you and be like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I can plan for days.
We can talk shit for days. We've
10 episodes worth. But
it's the work.
It's the work. And, you know, this is something as well that is a fucking slap in the face if you're not careful. But if you're not doing the work, then you obviously just don't want it enough.
Exactly.
Because if you really, really wanted something, I've seen me go down a fucking rabbit hole when I want something. And it's scary. Like, look out, because Michaela is fixated.
Look at us. We moved abroad because we wanted it. That's how much we wanted it. We literally took the time to do all these visas. Do you know how many government appointments we've been to? How much paperwork we've had to translate? And we did it. And it was fine. We did the work.
I didn't even think twice about it. We wanted this. Yeah. Exactly. And it's kind of, I think we're at a stage in our, I don't want to say journey, that's so fucking lame. We're at the stage in our time here that we had the first year. It was all fun. We did the thing. We got the visas. All good. Everything was good. It's the second year now and shit's getting real. Like, do we want to stay? And do we want to make this a life, or do we want this to be a fun little 2 years that we talk about when we're, 40?
Exactly.
This is it for me.
Yeah. I love that we took a year off. We had our fun.
Well, I mean, I didn't, but you did. I mean, I did. But you know what I mean? Like, that was a gap year.
That was a gap year.
Shit's getting real now.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing, and this has come up a lot of times in the last couple of weeks, is like, moving the way that we move. If we were to do this, turn around and move to a different country in 12 months time, that can only be sustainable for so long.
It's making choices. And it's making the small everyday choices to align with our bigger choice.
Yes.
And I think we just need to constantly remember that.
Mm-hmm. And that fulfillment thing.
It'll come if you keep working towards what you want, making decisions that align with your goal. It will come.
Yeah.
It better come. And if it doesn't come.
No, but it will. It will.
I am going to hunt whoever's up there.
Hey. I've still got like a tender relationship with whoever's up there. I'm unsure. And I just don't want them to, we're on eggshells.
We are good people.
We are though. We are. And I think that that comes back to the whole, we can't expect shit.
Sometimes you need to have that talk with yourself.
You do.
Like, stop being a little bitch.
Yeah, because it's that classic, like, we're good. What have I done? Oh, why does the world hate me? It doesn't. Just fucking get up and keep going.
I know. Yeah, you've got to.
Yesterday,
it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
If you had said that to me yesterday, I would have probably just fallen into a puddle.
But it's allowing that day. It's allowing that recovery, and that's okay. But yeah, you have to do the work, and it's a tough conversation you have to have with yourself. Being like, okay, well, you're sitting here complaining, but you're not doing anything to change it.
Yeah. I wonder if, we were talking about logistical people versus creative people, whatever that difference is. I don't think that people who are logical thinkers have to sit down and have that tough conversation with themselves as often as we would. Because they have the things and they're just cushy. They're kind of cruising. Maybe a car payment comes up. Shit, I'll do some extra hours. if you're working, and maybe it's an entrepreneurial mindset that's different.
I think it's when you have multiple goals and you're trying to make them all work.
Correct.
It's the hard part. Yeah.
It's got so overwhelming for me in the last 2 weeks. When I first found out about the visa issues, I already basically knew the conclusion of what was going to happen. I was like, classic again, Michaela, bad luck. But thinking about doing it this way, it was the first time that I was like, it would be so easy to just go home and
it's
live
that
my
fight or
life.
flight.
Yeah, for sure. But and call me crazy, I think I really enjoy the chaos. I think that I kind of get off on it. Like, I think I just really...
You? Dramatic? What?
I like calling back home to friends and being like, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened this week.
See,
Follow
I don't
along
care.
on my story. No. But like...
No, I'm like, when I call back home, I'm like, I'm not going to rant about my problems because no one cares.
No. But
no
they
one
don't.
gives a shit.
Because they don't understand. And like, when I didn't get the job, and I got the email on Monday. I'd sent Mum a screenshot of the email and she called me straight away. And she was like, oh, but it was full-time work anyway. And like, you didn't want that because it'll take away from your music. And it's the first time I've moved overseas. And I was like, do you know how broke I am? Do you know? And I started yelling at her and I was like, okay, pull it back. And I was like, Mum, I'm sorry. I'm not in a fit state to speak to you right now. I need to go. And I hung up.
Because they don't know when you're sitting there about to have dinner and you're splitting a can of tuna in half. And then people are like, oh, how are you doing? How's your... You're like, yeah, it's fine. Everything's great. Because they don't care. They don't understand.
No.
And you can't complain too much when we're over here living
because
an awesome life.
We are,
but
and
it's hard.
It's in the beginning because I had a really big issue when we first moved here with visas, and I had to throw money at immigration and get different visas and stuff like that. Then it was so easy for me to be like, but this compared to back home, this is exactly what I want to be investing my money in.
Exactly.
Now, when money is less and the times have been, it's been like the stress level started here and then something happens and then something happens and it's up here. And you're like, I don't know what the purpose of life is anymore.
Yeah.
I love my life.
Yeah. We just need to work harder.
Yes. And also like...
And not sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that no one's coming to save you.
No,
It circles back. You can complain about your problems to everyone, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, but again, this episode is just full of quotes.
Go.
Someone said to me, "There's no point spilling your problems to people because 50% of the people that you tell don't care. The other 50% are glad that you have them."
Absolutely.
So ever since then, I'm like, I'm very selective of who I tell my problems to.
Yeah.
Because there's no point.
And at the end of the day, like if I had someone back home call me with I'm a very empathetic person. If someone called me with a problem, I would care. But also, like, have you seen the shit show that I'm fucking living right now? Like, I can talk to, oh no, that fucking sucks. But also, I'm not sure if I can afford to.
There's a difference between venting your problems and talking about your problems because you feel like you need someone to help you or save you.
And that's something big that has shifted in me in the last 12 months, 12 and a half months, whatever. Is like I used to go to people with my problems for solutions because I almost needed the permission to make a choice. Even if I knew what was right or wrong, I would be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, tell me what to do.
Yeah. Things where you're here by yourself, people are normally asleep when big decisions have to be made. So you got to fucking own that shit.
Yeah, you got to.
If it's wrong,
try again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to do?
But, and on that, that's why we have our therapy Thursdays.
Yes.
That's different because we go there for the full purpose of venting all the shit that's happened in that week.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, once the bottle's empty, we're like, all right, well, let's go.
Yeah. And it's also a lot easier to vent to people who are going through exactly what you're going through. Like, some of the solutions being like, well, why don't you just come home or just keep smiling or whatever. Like,
have you tried this? Have you tried that?
You don't get it. You don't understand. Whereas with us, and it's funny, I was thinking about this when we were lying in the park and Drummer Boy was there too. A lot of the time in Therapy Thursdays, there's 3 different conversations happening. Like someone will vent about something and then you jump in with what you're going through and then you go through with it. Like it's not really, we're not offering solutions.
No, we're not offering advice. We're not offering solutions. We're just, this is shit. You know what? This is also shit. And then this happened. You know what? And then this happened.
Yeah.
We're just sounding boards.
And then 2 hours later, like you said, the bottle's finished.
The problems get worse and worse.
And, and then you sleep.
You feel fine.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? It's not that bad.
Yeah. I just thought of the cat that's hanging. Keep calm and carry on. I haven't been calm in a year and a half.
I'm gonna clip all these fucking quotes that we've said today. We're like a freaking walking, talking.
We are Hallmark cards. Yeehaw.
All right. I didn't do anything uncomfortable again. The whole life's been uncomfortable, to be honest. But did you do something uncomfortable?
I was extraordinarily uncomfortable. So I had just I was in my second day of working a job. I had a job. Everything was great. I was low-key waiting for this contract to come through. The contract came through. I Snapchatted you and I was like, I don't know what to do. I've just signed this contract. Do I quit the job that I'm at right now on my lunch break or what do I do? And you were like, you have to quit. You start in a week. And I was like, okay, that's right. It makes sense. I'm going to go in there before lunch so they don't have to make me a free meal and I'm going to quit because, I don't want to be whatever.
Again, we're trying to be good people here.
Literally. But as we were going to go to lunch, he was like, I can't carry all of this food. So I couldn't go and get my phone and then do the Grammy Award winning fucking performance that I had planned.
Oscar.
So I was like, I'll help you carry the food. And then we put the food down. He started eating. I was like, fuck, well, all right, I better start eating too. So I quickly got up. I was like, it's been a few hours since I checked my phone. So I did that. Walked back in, and that's where the performance began. If I could tell you the anxiety in my body, I was like, oh my god, this thing just. And then they were asking questions, and I was like, I actually low-key got an offer yesterday. I was waiting for a contract, and then I did the thing. I quit. It was super awkward, and I came home, and it was fine. But that was so uncomfortable, especially
it's
now.
going back on your word, your commitment. It's very hard.
Again, we're good people.
We're good people. Yes.
The worst part about and the most uncomfortable part about that whole situation is that the fucking job fell out. Now I have no jobs. I had 2 and I have 0 now. Yay!
Universe 1, Michaela 0.
Michaela's like -11. What do you mean? Yes, I strategically chose 11. So I found a post this week.
Yes, which is something we were going to do. We were going to put it out to the people.
Because somebody did it for us.
Someone did it for us. But because when we were having this conversation, we were like, why are we here? Why specifically, why were we in Berlin? We wanted to hear what other people's whys were.
So we're stealing this straight off the internet. Okay, so I feel quite happy in my life now, and it definitely took some time and effort to get there. I first came to Berlin 11 years ago, and what attracted me was the vibe of the city, the effortlessness, feeling that you can be whoever you are or whoever you want to be. That was quite a breath of fresh air for me compared to the other place where I've been from.
I think, a lot of people will probably say that because Berlin is such an open city.
It is.
And you can come here and be whatever you want. Yeah. Like there's so many different characters here. Yeah. It's a real creative It's a real creative city. It's a real open city. But she said 11 years ago. Yeah. I feel like the city would have been completely different 11 years ago.
Totally different, for sure.
Compared to now.
I'm just reading through.
I read one where there was a few actually where they moved for a man. Yes. And they're not necessarily with them, but they stayed because they liked the city. Yeah. Yeah. Moving for a relationship is such a big commitment, such a big step too, because then your why is literally, because I want to be with them. Yeah.
It depends on the stage of the relationship, I think, but yes. And it becomes like if they have to move for a job and you're moving with them, they've got their job to go to. You have fucking nothing.
How would that conversation go? Because you could be in one spot. You could both have careers and maybe one of you wants to move for their job. And then it's like, shit, do I have to give up my job? How much of your life would you have to give up to move for them?
can confirm. I mean, I didn't move internationally, but when I moved from regional Victoria to Melbourne CBD, I had a fully thriving business.
Yeah.
That is the reason I can live here for a year without a job. Like, I had a great job. I had a partner who lived in CBD Melbourne. It was a 40-minute commute, but my job was on site. I built the whole fitness studio myself, mostly. And we had this conversation last episode, he was like, well, it's about time you should move in.
Yeah.
It wasn't a conversation. Like, I didn't really think about it. I was like, I guess it's the next step and you move. If anyone tells you that life is not going to be that different, they're fucking lying.
But that's the thing. So your why to move was because you wanted to be with them.
Sure.
So would your want to be with them have to be greater than the life that you've established for yourself?
Absolutely, it would have to be.
That's tough.
But this is the thing. This goes all the way back to the beginning, logical versus creative. If they're already building something for themselves,
They would have to envision a better life.
Correct.
Than what they
Exactly.
have.
But if they're looking for that security and, okay, we start a family and like, I don't really care about what I do career-wise as long as I'm happy.
Yeah.
Then that's the perfect route to go. After nearly 10 months of deep suffering, I went to see an IFS therapist. And after a few sessions, I started feeling a little better. And then a few weeks, something really clicked. I thought to myself, how do you want to tell your story in hindsight? And I can keep making myself miserable, hating this city, or I can make it the absolute best out of it because right now this is where we are. Interesting.
So it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Changing your outlook.
Yeah. It's a lot of moving for men.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's always women moving for men?
No. I mean, I think it really depends on what kind of a relationship you have.
And who's making more money?
Correct.
But again, if say they're making more money, but yours is that fulfillment. I don't know. I'm struggling to understand this because I've never been in a relationship where I would want to completely give up my life to move for them.
Yeah. If you get to the city, do you have an agreement and be like, if I hate it, I want to move I want to move home? Do you do distance?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different moving parts. I think it's definitely a case by case. Yeah.
So the reasons people move: jobs, love, seeking fulfillment.
Yeah. There's
running away.
Running away. There's that thing, and I think you were telling me about it. Sometimes you go to a place and you feel like you just belong there.
My problem is a lot of places I go, I'm like, yes, this is it.
This is it. I haven't had that feeling yet.
Yeah. Well, we need to keep traveling.
It's true.
I did feel it in The Hague. I was like, this was where I needed. So that's what I mean. Some decisions are so easy.
Yeah.
And you have that feeling in your gut where you're like, this is aligning
Yep.
with everything. This feels right.
At the end of the day, you need to be happy within yourself. And it's the same as a relationship. You have to be happy within yourself. And then where you are, yes, it is important.
Yeah.
But it's not as important.
Okay, this is an unhinged, but a little woohoo.
Okay.
Like a little, like, because we've already established where we're falling off.
I shared
sanity.
my fears with you. Just watch out for me, just in case I go too far down the insanity route.
Do you believe there is a path for everyone?
No.
Like, I say someone, I'm pretty sure I've read this on the internet, but do you ever get those moments where you have deja vu?
I do. I used to get deja vu a lot.
And you're like, fuck. And like sometimes you'd get deja vu so bad that you know what's going to happen next. And then it happens and it freaks you out.
No, I think...
hang on, I'm not done yet. And people were saying if there's a period of time where you have lots of deja vus, it's because you're on the right path.
We need to get some deja vus up in here.
Do you believe in that?
No, I think that we make our direct decisions that completely is powerful over the direction that we go.
What is deja vu?
It's when you feel like you've lived a moment before. Like brain. What is deja vu? Brain.
Is that what it says? Brain?
No, that's what I searched. Deja vu is French for already seen, is the feeling of having experienced a new situation before, even though Yeah, I know what it is. Scientists believe it's related to how our brains process and retrieve memories, possibly involving a temporary misfiring or glitch in the memory system.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a similar feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
all right. So that was. There's no woo woo. There's just science.
Some days I like to believe that, you know, someone's looking out for me, and I think that's just a human trait. Like that's why religion.
Yeah, we like to know that there's something. We like not know, but we like to believe in a higher being because sometimes it gets scary.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck, you know, I don't want to do this by myself.
And that's where religion like really comes from. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways, but people getting so into religion is because there are questions that are not answered and we feel we need an answer. So people create the answers. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it also to give all of my control to someone else or a higher power.
That's not going to do shit.
No.
Yeah. It comes back to that. You got to work hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Another question.
Sure.
At what point do you have to reassess your why because it's fallen to shit?
I think that the why can always stay the same, but the method of reaching the why needs to change if it's all fallen to shit.
So you would never be like, okay, well, I can't, that's not working out. I need to reassess my why.
I mean, no, I think the whole reason of having a why is not giving up on it because it's not working. Yeah. Like that's like saying, okay, I have dreams to be a singer and then being like, oh, well, I did one bad performance. So obviously it's not for me. I'm just going to give up. Yeah. I think having a why, I don't even know whether you can control that. We talk about the gut feeling. It's that fulfillment thing. It's in your body. It's not just like I wish for this, because if you just wish for something that because you make you more comfortable, then you're not going to put in the work because you don't care enough. I think that it can change over a lifetime. Yeah, oh, definitely. But if you're waking up each morning not working towards your why, that can be uncomfortable. Yeah, for sure. I said this to you the other day. You just got to choose your discomfort. It's going to be uncomfortable either way. Yep. Choose which one you want to spend your life in. Yep. How fucking motivational are we? I know, right? Do the work! Watch me come in next week and I did nothing different. No. Okay, well, I have a secret and you guys can see it all through next season because you'll see the work happen. You'll see the work happen. But I've decided I can't keep talking about it, so I'm not telling anyone. I just have to do it. Just do the work. Oh, fuck. Anyway, look out for our motivational quote book coming out. Yeah, my God. Talk about T-shirts. We'll have so many T-shirts. Don't be silly, draw a wheelie or whatever we said. Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, it always gets to this point where I'm like, yeah, we need to sign off. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in to season 1. See you in season 2. Good chats. Great chats. It was great chats. I hope people feel inspired. Yeah, I feel inspired. If you don't, then fuck off. No, listen to us and sponsor. Anyway.